Welcome to the channel. If you're preparing to take your SAT, you need to know how to answer this type of question. SAT is now testing algebra because of Desmos. This is it. Watch it, learn how to do it. Let's get to it. This question is actually not that difficult, but if you look intimidating, I'm going to show you how to master it. They give you a function W, right? They give you a bunch of variables. And they say m and n are non-zero. That means this and this is non-zero integers. And n is a real constant. So this is your constant, right? Real normal constant, right? That's key. And they said what? Function u and v is equivalent to what? W. That means these guys are the same as that. And they give you a bunch of weird numbers. It looks complicated. Don't worry about it. Which of the following equations display the y-coordinate, y-intercept of this function, the initial function, in the plane where it displays as what? A constant or coefficient. We want a constant or coefficient. And so this is what? The actual function. Rewrite it when you have y-intercept x is equal to 0. That's all. So the first function, the view x, when x is equal to 0, I have m 6 raised to 0, 6q plus n. What am I going to have? I have m, because this is 1, and I have m 6 raised to q plus n. If you rewrite it, you get n m minus m6 to the power q. This is what we're looking for. That's all. Do you see that in this question? You look at 1 and 2. If you see it there and it display right away, that means that's your answer. You don't have to do anything. Just by looking at it, if you highball it carefully, right? This is a function and this is the constant here. Look at it. Is this equal to that? I see n, boom, m, boom. This m times q, 6 raised to q. Right there. You're looking at it without not doing anything. That is the word display by what? The function without doing anything. The constant is right there. I don't have to do any calculation. This is the key where it throws most students off. It's right there. You don't need to do anything. Look at the second function. You don't see it. You have to do something to it before you can get it. If you put s is equal to 0, this will become m6 to the power q, and this will become x6 minus q minus 1 plus n. And when you simplify, this will become 0, right? So if you open it, if you actually open the function, you get m. This will become 6 raised to 0, right? It become m, and this becomes 6m minus 6q plus n. And this will become just m minus m6 raised to q plus n. It's the same thing, n plus m that. But what do you have to do? You have to simplify the actual function to get the answer as a constant. But that's not what the question. It said is displayed right in front of you. You don't have to do anything. Therefore, a straightforward question, only one. Learn how to do this. This is your 800 mark. If you do that, trust me, you ace the test. This is it. Learn how to do it. It's right there in front of you. Also, Desmos, there's certain questions that are Desmos proof to force you to use algebra. And then if you're not comfortable, you spend too much time. This is a straightforward question. Basically, they're asking you to complete the square. That's all in disguise. They say in the equation, Q and S are what? Positive constant. And they've given you this equation. It looks like a circle, right? The graph of the equation is a circle with what? The radius square root of 69. Which of the following express S in terms of Q? That's all. You can't use Desmos in this. You got to solve it. But don't freak out. Look at the question. I see 4. I see 8. I see 4. I see 4. I see 20. Where I can simplify this, I'm going to get that become s squared minus 2 square root of qx plus y squared plus x y minus 5 is equal to 0. Complete the square because they've given you the radius. You need it. The radius, when you complete the square, that's the radius, should be equal to half of this all square. Therefore, minus 2 square root of q all square. That's just completing of the square. Same thing. Half of s square root is what? And then you square them. Square root of half s all square. And then the 5 go back to the where the 0 is. It become positive. And then you solve it. This will become what? What do you think? It will become q. This is going to be what? This square root is going to be what? S over 4, because the square root will take care of the 2, and the 2 here become 4, right? So this is an S, and then plus 5. And what is radius? The radius is square root of 69. I put square root of 69 here. And then if you square it, it's going to be what? 69 q plus 5 plus x over 4 plus 5. If you simplify, you get 64 q s over 4. And then you multiply each side by 4. You're going to get 2, 5, 6, 4q plus x. They said make this in terms of x. Therefore, s become what? S become 2, 5, 6 minus 4q. And that's your answer. Once again, I want you to complete the square. I simplify with the 4 first, and I have this equation. And then you find, to complete the square, you take the x value, you divide it by 2, that's half, and then you square it, right? I don't need to do the left side. All I care about is the right side. So I'm going to the radius side, and I take it to the radius side, and I square. Same thing I do with this s, square root of sy. So square root of s is half of that is half, all square will be this. And then you simplify, and you get your value. It's straightforward. If you look at it, it looks complicated. Actually, straightforward. Master them so that next time when you're taking the STT, it becomes easy. And this is another question. If you don't know your geometry, it will look complicated. You have 2 cylinders, M and N. They are similar to each other. That's key. That means you can find a scale factor. The volume M is what? 343 times the volume of N. If the surface area of M is 100, what is the surface area of N? These are your 2 cylinders, right? This is M. The N is smaller. And they give you the volume. So the volume of M and volume of N, they are in the ratio of 343 over 1. This is the same thing as volume of N over volume M is 1 over 343. We can find the scale factor of this. The scale factor, you just have to find 1/3, the cube root of that. But then you need the scale factor for the surface area. The way I do it is, and for surface area, you just have to square the whole thing. So the surface area, if you want to find the surface area of this, which is N into bracket, is going to be M times 1 over 343, 1/3, but you square everything, it become 2/3, right? And we know M is what? 100. So I just take D and I put times 100. This can simplify easily. 7/3 will give you 343. I have 2/3 here times 100. The third cancel. Therefore, I have 100 over 49. And this is your right answer, depending on what they want you to use as a function or answer choice. But know that when they give you volume, surface area of cylinders, you can't just use them. You got to find the scale factor of that. For the volume, if they've given you the ratio, you find cubic of that ratio. That is 1/3. The value that you get, you have to square it to be the surface area to use it to calculate it. But after you finish, if you want to find the actual ratio, you just divide it and find the square root. But that is the opposite. It's back and forth. So volume is this. The ratio is just a ratio. And the scale factor is 1/3 of that. Then when you find 1/3, that value, you square it and you multiply by 100. That's why I put 2/3. I don't want to do them if you want to do it in the quick way. And so that's the formula. Learn them how to do it. It's just straightforward question. It's actually a similar triangle if you look at it carefully. And they told you that the diagram below shows similar triangles. And the segment, this is parallel to that. And they give you these weird numbers. U over V is equal to M. W over Y is equal to what? M. That means this side is the same thing. This is the same side as M. You don't have to freak out, right? But look at it. If these are a similar triangle, I'll just take this one. Let's take the first. Let's take this guy. So this triangle is X, U, W from here to here. And from here to here is U, right? Therefore, and then, but you got to know that this triangle, the bigger triangle, the length, you round from all the way here. So there's two triangles together. And that's all. So you can use ratio. I would say 49 over 343 is the same thing as what? U, that's this side, over the whole length, U plus V. Or is the same thing as W plus W plus Y. And what would this give you? This will give you 1 over 7. I will just take one side, U over U plus V. Right? And when you solve it, you get U plus V is equal to 7U. That means V is 6U. U over V is 1 over 6, which is the same thing as M. Therefore, M that they want you to find is 1 over 6. As you can see, it's just knowing how to play with the numbers. They're just throwing a bunch of variables, forcing you to use your hand instead of Desmos. You need to know a little bit of algebra to be able to answer this kind of question. Mathematics is the same thing. It doesn't change. Like this question, require a bunch of things to unravel what he's trying to say. It's not that difficult. It depends on how you approach it. We have X and Y on a circle with the center 0. So circle, center 0, X and Y. So here, here, here. Whenever they give me 3 points on a circle, I try to make it a triangle because that's what I'm anticipating. And they tell you 0 angle at X is 30, where with the center. So this guy, this is 30. If this is 30, they give you radius. This is what? 9. This is also 9. It's the same thing because it's a radius, right? Even though it looks longer, it's a radius. That's the way I draw it. You can tell this is an isosceles triangle. If it's so, this is also has to be 30. Therefore, this central angle is what? 120. Because I subtract 180 minus 60, I get 120. If I know the central angle, the rest of it is easy, right? It's a straightforward question. What does that mean? If you know the central angle, the arc angle they want to find from here to here, this is the same thing as 120 over 360 times the circumference of the circle, right? This is go here 1, this go here 3. but the circumference, the radius is 9. Therefore, this go here 3. So the answer is 6 pi. Straightforward. 5 hard question model 2. Learn them, master them, know your algebra, and use Desmos as a support. Don't depend on it alone. Good luck. If you like this video, click on the like button, put a small comment. If you see any, put a comment there. If you have a new question, put it. I'll create one for you and I'll solve it for you, whichever you have a question. And if you subscribe to the channel, you get more content like that. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and good luck.